It started with a notification, another fleeting dopamine hit that somehow still left me feeling extremely empty. I found myself checking my phone 100 times in a single day, most often after posting something online or sending a message to my friends, my family, my assistant that ended up with, "What do you think?" And that is actually when I realized, through lots of waking up with anxiety about social media, that I had really become addicted to the validation through social media. I have worked years and years on seeking validation externally, but this one snuck up on me. And it starts very small, it becomes very insidious and sneaky. And before I realized it, I had racked up a ridiculous amount of screen time for the week. If you're an entrepreneur, chances are you're on social media. And so in today's podcast, our topic is breaking free from the external feedback loop of social media and external validation, and how to detox your way out of it. Welcome to another episode of the Limitless Podcast, where we dive deep into the mindset shifts that unlock true freedom and success. And I'm so glad you're here. I'm so honored that you are here. So let's dive into this. Let's take a look at social media. I have to tell you, this all happened with me several months ago. And I have still been processing and detoxing really the addiction that I had to social media, the addiction to the external validation, the addiction to every time that I posted to make sure, am I getting likes? Am I getting followers? Am I getting comments? And it is a trap. And I know that there are so many people that struggle with this. And that's why I decided to write out this podcast, and not only write out this podcast and share it with you with my own personal experience, but to actually give you the how I feel today, the outcome of how I changed that mindset of external validation and what it has done in my life today. So let's think about this. As an entrepreneur, we post on social media. That is the way that people are building their businesses nowadays. And we seek that validation of every single post. Am I liked? It's a way to see, do they like me? Are they following me? Is my content valuable? Are people wanting more of my content? So it's a little bit of a way to track the stats of what your audience likes, but there's also a trap within that. Because if we are not sure in who we are and what we have to offer, we will continually be seeking validation from others. And it is such a slippery slope, my friend, because what happens? You lose you. You lose you. And you lose you because you are seeking validation from other people because you don't trust yourself. So let's just look at that piece. The piece of it really is, I don't trust me and my own opinion. And I want you to have that back. I want you to have that back because, my friend, the only thing that you have in this lifetime is you. That is the only security that you can actually rely on. And if you are not sure of yourself, there's really not anything to be sure about. So you will constantly be in a place of indecisiveness, unable to make a decision. You will have lack of motivation in your business because you don't really know who to trust. And you're not trusting yourself, and you're constantly seeking approval from other people. So let's look at this. What does that really look like? And I want you to just check in with yourself and ask yourself, how often do you ask someone, what do you think? It could be after sharing ideas. It could be after you put on an outfit. How does this look? What do you think? Are you sure? Are you sure? Does it look okay? What about these shoes? What about the belt? Do you like the belt? Do you like the jewelry? What about the ring? What about the earrings? The ring's okay. How is my hair? It's that constant feedback loop that we're seeking validation, whether it is about the way you look, whether it is about your social media, whether it is from your children, your friends, your spouse, whatever it is. How often do you ask that question, what do you think. Now, this goes way beyond social media. This is something that it creeps into every aspect of your life. So, how often? What do you think? Some other things that we seek out without even recognizing is we're actually fishing for confidence and, compliments. There have been many times when years ago in my business as a network marketer, we would go to conferences, we would go to events, etc. And with every conference that we had, there was always going shopping for new clothes because everybody saw you in the old clothes the last time and you've been wearing those old clothes since the last conference. So we've got to go shopping for new things. And I would catch myself in the dressing room asking myself, are people going to like this? It didn't really set in with me until I started really working on the external validation piece of my personality. And the only thing that really matters is, do I feel good in this? Because if I feel good in this, it doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks. But the reality was, behind how I felt about it, I still wanted validation from others. So do you catch yourself being in the dressing room, or when you put on an outfit, do you catch yourself wondering, I wonder if I'm going to get compliments on this outfit? External validation. Do you have a hard time making decisions? Decision making is huge, especially if you're an entrepreneur. We're constantly making decisions. And if you find yourself being indecisive, is it because you need someone else to tell you what direction you should go? If that's the truth, I'm just going to be really honest with you. You're not living your life. You're living your life through the opinions and the decisions of other people. And what I do is I teach you how to get that back and trust yourself and learn to be safe within your own skin. So how often are you indecisive and you rely on someone else to make that decision for you? Another question I want you to think about is, do you change your decision based on someone else's reaction? Or do you change your opinion based on someone else's reaction or opinion? That's a sign that someone else's validation of you is more important than yours. One of the greatest gifts that I've ever given myself is the beauty of trusting my inner intuition, that voice within me that tells me yes or no, that feeling within me that I know this is a no, this is a yes. And when you trust that, it's very interesting how you no longer have to look outside yourself for that validation, because you know the direction to go. You are confident in the way you look. You are confident in the content that you are putting out on social media, and you trust it's going to hit the right people. Regardless of how many likes, regardless of how many comments, the right people are going to be the ones that see it. That is the greatest gift you can give yourself. And then another gift that I think has been invaluable to me is really not looking for permission for decision making that I could actually make myself. So it's learning to trust yourself, learning to be safe, and understanding that your inner knowing, that voice within you, you can trust it, and it's going to help you make the right decisions. And what happens when all of this comes together? Confidence, my friend. Confidence beyond what you could even imagine. So as I started going through this process and with social media, so I did a little bit of a detox through social media, and I actually didn't post. I don't recall exactly how long it was, but when I tell you that I woke up every single morning in anxiety, like stressed out anxiety over social media, it was really that intense for me. And I really think this was the last thing that I had to let go of when it came to seeking validation. I honestly, I don't seek validation from other people anymore. I mean, very, very rarely. I can't even think of one time that I've done that recently. And it's because I truly have released the attachment of other people's opinions of me. I've released that attachment that I don't know the right decision. I released the attachment that my decision might be wrong. That's an attachment that we have. That's a belief that we have that our decision might be wrong. And it's because at some point we were told that we were wrong and we don't want to be wrong. And so we don't trust ourselves and we ask other people to make those decisions for us. So that way we could always be right. Correct? That sounds pretty profound, and it is. But what I have found as I have released this is in those weeks of no social media posting, I found myself really checking in and really thinking, if I'm not being validated on social media, if social media is no longer a platform for me to seek validation, then who am I? Who am I? And that's what you will see as you go through a little detox of not asking anybody, what do you think? Not asking but anybody, how do I look? Not asking anybody, what do you think about this decision? You'll go through a little detox. And I would highly encourage you to do this so that you can come back to you. Most importantly, come back to you and learn to trust yourself. But who are you? Who are you beyond the decisions that people are making for you? Who are you beyond the compliments that you feel like you need to be okay with the way that you look? And without that constant feedback loop of external approval, I really had to confront actually what I thought about myself. And that was the most enlightening piece of it as an entrepreneur, as a 50-something-year-old woman that is building another business. That comes in with a lot of insecurities and fears and all doubts and all of those things that I've had to work through as well. But social media was just another piece of that. So who am I beyond the approval? And it was unsettling to discover how much of my self-image was outsourced to the opinions of others. Pretty crazy when it came to my business, the business that I know that I've been called to bring forth into the world. That was the only voice I needed to trust. And so I started making small decisions of not asking or thinking about, is this post going to land? Is this post going to land? Are they going to like it? I stopped asking myself that. And I just decided I was going to have faith and trust that this business that I'm called to do, it's going to land. It's going to work. The right people are going to come to that platform. And so that's another piece of trust. If we trust ourselves, we can really trust God to do what is supposed to be done when we're called to that platform, right? When we're doing something, we can not only trust ourselves, but trust God that there is a plan and a purpose for the desires of your heart. There is a plan and a purpose. But what I experienced with the liberation of doing all of this is there was a newfound strength that began to emerge. And a newfound strength of, I just posted on social media and I let it be. I let it be. I didn't check my phone afterwards. I didn't check it a million times to see how many people. And do you know what happened? Is as I released the resistance that I was experiencing with the anxiety and what will people think and do they like it? I released that resistance. My social media grew. My social media grew. Why is that? Why does that happen? Because when we release the resistance of it all and develop the trust and faith, something beautiful can happen. We let it go. And we aren't trying to control it. And it becomes something miraculous when you don't have to think about it all the time. I stopped looking at the view count. I stopped looking at, how many people commented, how many people saved it, etc. And what I realized is I was carrying around this heavy backpack of other people's expectations on social media without even realizing it. without even realizing it. And as I released that, it gave me a chance to fly. And there was freedom. There was freedom that I have experienced with that, and the freedom of just trust and just putting it out there and trusting myself and feeling safe with the content that I'm here to create and the lives that I'm here to change. But even more, I can tell you that my relationships have changed. You'll experience better relationships in your life without seeking that validation constantly. People respond to you in a very different way. And there's a greater openness and authenticity between your relationships. My thinking became very clear. I wasn't constantly trying to adjust my thoughts for approval. And my mind began to work in this remarkable area of clarity in thinking, because I wasn't constantly thinking about what if, and what if they don't, and what if they don't like this, and what if this doesn't work. I released all that. And what starts to happen? Much more clarity. And I'm going to tell you, much more creativity as well. So better relationships, clearer thinking, and an energy surge. Well, why wouldn't there be an energy surge? I wasn't constantly weighted down by the heaviness of anxiety, worrying constantly about the approval of others. And that mental energy created so much space just to be present in the moment. My intuition became very much stronger. And let me tell you about intuition. A lot of people say that they can't hear God's voice, whatever that is, God, universe, beloved, almighty, whatever that name is to you. Do you know why we can't hear it? Because of our thoughts. Our thoughts are constantly going, what if? What if my child gets hurt? What if my child isn't liked by people? What if I go to this party and my best friend doesn't talk to me? She's been really weird. She doesn't talk to me anymore. What if, that constant what if? And you're not able to hear the most important voice of your life, your voice, your soul, God's voice, stronger intuition. And I think lastly, more respect for my own opinions instead of seeking validation from other people. I gained a lot more respect and confidence for myself. So who wouldn't want better relationships, clearer thinking, an energy surge, stronger intuition, more respect for yourself? So the ongoing practice with this is just to continue. I'm continuing just to trust myself, because I've learned that as I detox the process. And I would encourage you to go through a detox and journal it out. And the detox would be, today, I'm not going to ask anybody for their opinion on how I look. I'm not going to ask anybody for their opinion on this decision. I'm not going to ask anybody their opinion on, my social media posts, my business, whatever that is. I'm not going to ask for anyone else's opinion. It's going to be tough. I'm going to tell you that, because you will realize how comfortable you have gotten asking someone else for their opinion. So journal it out every single day and celebrate the wins when you don't ask for their opinion. And then next, you're going to start to see yourself ask the question, so who am I? Who am I? And why am I not trusting myself? Why am I waiting for someone else's opinion to tell me how to live my life? How did you begin to not trust yourself? When were you told that you were wrong in some way? Journal it out. Journal it out. And learn slowly by slowly to begin to trust yourself. Because the most powerful validation, it turns out, is the kind only you can give yourself. I love you, my friend. I believe in you, and I know you can do this. You are stronger than you think, more powerful than you know, and limitless beyond imagination. God bless you.